Sheriff Clark was on Fox News the other day and pointed out that this is all this rhetoric about gun control. Yeah, they do want to come after people's Second Amendment. But at the end of the day, it's really a way for them to take away the attention that should be directed on holding the administration accountable and holding officials that have a responsibility for the homeland security, for the protection of the American people. Jay Johnson, the Secretary of Homeland Security, came out 2 days ago saying that reasonable, sensible gun control is a part of Homeland Security now, needs to be part of Homeland Security. And Jay Johnson failed. He was the Secretary of Homeland Security. He's the one that's supposed to be preventing these attacks, thwarting them, and instead his response is to come after our freedoms and is to target the American people as the enemy, saying that, well, you know, we need to watch out for right-wing groups just as much as Islamic groups. I'm sorry, Jay Johnson, but the majority of these attacks, San Bernardino, Brussels, the Paris nightclub, Orlando, they're ideological attacks coming from a specific group, and they're not right-wing conservatives. Last year in November, the Washington Times reported that 96% of the refugees coming from Syria that are being allowed into the United States are Muslims. Less than 3% of them are Christians. And over 2,000 Muslims were let in. And Obama was, even after the Paris attack, was saying we want to let in 10,000 more in 2016. And they're well on their way to reaching that goal. And once again, they're majority Muslims. The left has allied with radical Islam and is letting these people in, one, as a voting bloc, because they know that they'll be voting Democrat, and two, as a way to target our freedoms, because every time there's a successful attack, they take more of our rights away. RT reported today the White House sees a surge in Syrian refugees despite Americans' concerns following the Orlando attack. They're letting in more refugees from Syria, these unvetted Muslims, than they let in the whole first half of the year. So while Obama and Jay Johnson are up there saying that, giving us recommendations on how we can improve national security, their very actions, their policies are putting everyone in danger. And then Obama in his speech comes out and warns us that this is just the beginning, that there's going to be more attacks and that the weapons will be worse. And some kind of cryptic threat to the American people that if you don't give me power, if you don't give me more power, it's just going to get worse. You better watch out.
So I'm going to finish up with this Obama clip, come back, get to DHS Secretary basically saying the same thing, that outside of law, they're coming for our guns. They mean business. But let's go ahead and play this clip of Obama.
Actually be tough on terrorism and stop making it easy as possible for terrorists to buy assault weapons.
Okay, he bought it legally.
Reinstate the assault weapons ban. Make it harder for terrorists to use these weapons to kill us.
Had a registration.
Otherwise, despite extraordinary efforts across our government, by local law enforcement,
across our government,
by our intelligence agencies, by our military,
banning speeches,
all the sacrifices that folks make, these kinds of events are going to keep on happening.
That's right, he knows that.
And the weapons are only going to get more powerful.
Yeah, he knows the attacks are going to keep happening because he runs the Muslim Brotherhood with his cousin. He knows it's going to get bad because he's importing jihad and ordering the FBI and others to stand down so they can attack, because they're going to kill logic and take your free speech, my free speech, and our guns and everything else in the process. I predicted all of it. People said it doesn't make sense, though. They bring them in, they let them attack, then it's our fault? That's right. That's right. That's how this works. This is how they kill the free republic, bringing incompatible people in that work for the White House. His dad went to the White House. Hell, Obama probably directed it.
What the American people need to do is fire Obama, fire Jay Johnson, and send them to Syria because they're traitors. How dare you come out after you failed and tell the American people that they need to give up their right to defend themselves. People died so that we could have those freedoms, so that we could defend ourselves. The American people did not perpetrate the attack in Orlando. And Omar Mateen is not a homegrown terrorist. He's not American. And real Christians don't celebrate the death of innocent, unarmed people by some coward. Omar Mateen is a coward, and anyone who would go after unarmed victims in a nightclub when they have no way of defending themselves is a coward and doesn't deserve any respect. And this guy, Roger Jimenez out of Sacramento, is it true that you're celebrating the death of these 49 people in the name of Christianity? You're not a Christian. You're a phony. You're a fraud. You're a false prophet, a fake, probably sent out by some government official to make Christians look bad so that they could say that it's not just the Muslims. We got some idiot in Sacramento saying that Christianity worships the death of gay people too. Quoting scripture out of context. We're all sinners. The wages of sin are death. Yes, we all fall short of the glory of God. But the great thing about God is that He forgives us. You should be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Jimenez, if these statements are true, if the allegations and the stories are true. You're not a part of my Christianity, and I think most Americans, most Christians would agree that you don't represent us. And I wanted to touch on, I've been receiving comments from friends, people that I respect and I care about. They're concerned about Trump. They're concerned about this anti-immigration. They're concerned about, they don't like Hillary either, though. But something that I've seen that really bugs me about these people that liked a lot of the stuff that Bernie Sanders represented, this not establishment, against the big banks, against Wall Street. How can you possibly support somebody like Hillary Clinton? She is a total traitor. It's hard to say, but she's worse than Obama. And I think the reason you lost, the reason that Bernie Sanders is not the Democratic nominee, is because so many people that were Bernie Sanders supporters were unwilling to call out Hillary for all of her criminal activity. If you would have just been as passionate about Bernie Sanders as people were about Donald Trump, Hillary would not be the nominee. Despite all of the shenanigans, all of her phony superdelegate scam, none of it would have mattered because there would have been an overwhelming turnout. But you're too afraid to offend, too afraid to stand up to Hillary Clinton, because you, in your heart, you really knew she was going to steal it, and you knew that you had to support her in the end because I guess you just, a bandwagon Democrat or something. You just want to go with the party. It's not about principles. It's not about policy. Because when you ask somebody who's a Hillary Clinton supporter what policy, what experience, what she's done that made you support her, they have nothing to say. She's a woman. What kind of crap is that? Obama ran for president saying that he was going to radically transform America. He is radically transforming America. He has radically transformed America. The problem is, when he's done, it won't be America anymore.